Welcome to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and connected to the miraculous energy of unconditional love that I call Mother Mary. If you're a highly sensitive, highly creative entrepreneur or light worker, and you want to magnify your impact and your intuition, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Reverend Frances Faden, interfaith minister, intuitive coach, and author of Meditation is Friendship with God. I can't wait to share miraculous stories, books, meditations, messages, and interviews with other miraculous light workers just like you. Are you ready to magnify your miracles? What are we waiting for? Let's get started. Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together today talking about one of my favorite things, books. Yay! But before we get into today's specific book and the quite miraculous way that it manifested into my life and my awareness, let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths together. Just get ourselves grounded and centered. Breathing in the energy of expansion, breathing out anything that you no longer need. And if you are driving, as always, keep your eyes on the road, but you can still bring your awareness to your breath. And as you are preparing yourself to receive this inspiration today, knowing that whatever you need to hear to move you powerfully forward to magnify your miracles is going to be exactly what you hear today. So let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. Well, today's book is, I have to confess, this is actually not my book review. This is Mother Mary's book review because she picked this book out for you. I never even heard of this book, Earth Speaks Up, by Mary E. McNerney, I guess is how you say it, or it's either McNerney or McNerney. And what happened is I actually have a good friend of mine, client of mine, good friend, who I call my fairy book mother. And she sends me books. She's so sweet. She sends me books and she keeps me well stocked. Well, usually I ask for the books that she sends me, but this one she sent on her own. She said, "Oh, Frances, you have to read this book. It's called Earth Speaks Up, and it's going to really change your perspective." And I was like, okay, I'm open to it. Let's see. But then what happened, and this was over the summer, and then what happened was the beginning of November, I did, in the Magnify Your Miracles membership, I did my first call, which is a miracle message from Mother Mary. Mother Mary every month gives us a miracle message. And the one for November was really surprising because it was all about feeling your connection with the earth. We did it on All Saints Day, I believe. And Mother Mary was talking about how we connect with the saints, and we connect with these beautiful beings that are on the other side, and we never think of the support that we're receiving from the earth, and we don't connect with her that way. We don't think of her as a saint. We don't think of her as on our team. And Mother Mary was really encouraging us to do that. So when I was looking at what book to talk about, Mother Mary said, "You're going to talk about this book, Earth Speaks Up." So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And one of the things that's so amazing is, as an interfaith minister, I study a lot of different paths, and I'm exposed to a lot of different paths, and I'm always looking for the common thread. What is it that ties us together? There's enough things that, separate us and see how we're different, but I like to focus on the things we have in common, especially on the spiritual path. And so when I hear teachings that repeat themselves, they always catch my attention. And I heard a lot of things, and as I was reading, I read a lot of things in this book that I've also read that Paramhansa Yogananda has said in my learning and my time of studying with him. And I still study Paramhansa Yogananda's teachings. And so to see that many of these things were echoed, teachings that he has said that were echoed, I found really reassuring. So basically, this is a story of a woman who was going about her life, and then she got a message. She heard a voice in her head that said, "Take dictation from the earth." And she was like, "What? What do you mean take dictation from the earth?" And she started doing this channeling or this automatic writing. Part of it is from the earth herself. Part of it is from a group of beings that she just calls we. Now I'm going to read you a little bit of the introduction so you have an idea about it. But I highly, highly recommend that you get this book, because if you're interested at all in connecting with the earth, if you are feeling a connection to nature, if you're wanting to be a role for positive change with climate change and all of that, having a relationship with the earth and understanding her is really crucial. So I highly recommend this. Plus, it'll help you to start connecting with the earth as a being rather than just as this dirt thing that we live on, right? So this is the introduction from the author. She says, in centuries past, people believed the earth was flat. That was not reality, but it was the fundamental perception at the time. So too, society once believed earth was stationary and the sun circled around it. That is, until people learned the opposite is true. Earth is dynamic and mobile, continually rotating on an axis. More recently, perceptions of reality changed yet again when people recognized the land is not fixed and static either. Earth's continental plates regularly move and shift. We, in our time, hold on to the belief that Earth is merely a compilation of dirt and rock. That is our perception, but as past experience taught us, that is not necessarily the reality. Groundbreaking advances throughout history have shown us that our view of the world needs to be fluid and expansive, open to change. Earth speaks up, brings each of us into the nexus of that next change in perception. It takes you into an experience of our world in a new way, on a journey into an amazing connection with Earth. You will come to know Earth as a conscious, sentient, communicating planetary being, one who continually seeks to express herself clearly to you and who seeks to teach you to attune to her. It was when the Earth distinctly asked me to attune to her that this book had its origin. I love that. Now, here's the story of the author. She says, at the time, I was a corporate lawyer ensconced in managing matters of contracts and business logistics. Concepts of a sentient, expressive Earth were simply not on my radar. So if you're kind of a left brain logical person, you can really relate to this, right? That is until one day I distinctly and unmistakably heard the words, take dictation from the earth. It's hard to encapsulate my surprise in words. After recovering from the shock, I thought it was a profound idea, but certainly more suited to the illustrious and knowledgeable spiritual persons of our time. When some months later I heard the exact same request, I concluded I should give it a try. Having no idea what to do, I simply sat there with a pen in hand. Suddenly, the dictation started coming. It was hard for my pen, hand, and mind to keep up with it. This process continued over the ensuing months and years and became this book. So I'm not going to read you everything in there, but I will read you what she says about her guidance. She says, Earth is the primary teacher and speaker in this text. When speaking, I experienced Earth as a feminine and light-hearted being. Her voice has a musical quality to it with a palpable sense of warmth. Guidance from the non-dimensional, non-physical realms is also offered by angelic beings who enter into this conversation to support both Earth and us, the listeners. They identify themselves to us as capital W, capital E, the word we. When we speak, I sense I'm in the midst of a group of highly evolved spiritual beings who speak collectively as one. Their voice is more sonorous, with a distinctly masculine tone. They sound like a wise professor. All right, so here is the very beginning of what the earth is saying. And I'm just going to read you a little bit of this because I want you to get a feel for the energy of the earth. When I was reading this, I was like, oh, this feels like the truth. This definitely feels like the truth. You know, sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can see that people are kind of just in their imagination. This does not feel like that. So this is how this book begins, chapter 1. Earth says, "So we begin. My time as a planet has been very short. I, as a being, previously inhabited other galaxies and may do so in the future. I had an opportunity to come here, to take this form, move into this form and into this beingness, so I did. I like it. I'm enjoying it. Being a planet nurtures my beingness, what you may loosely term my spirit, although that term is somewhat incomplete when used in reference to planet souls or being. No matter. What I really want to convey to you is what I am about now, because that will help you and human consciousness understand more completely what your role is in conjunction with mine. We are a togetherness, which is something that humankind has missed to comprehend, failed to understand for quite some time, for eons. Now, in this time, it is the time for humanity and what the human consciousness represents to awaken to the togetherness of what we, you and I, truly are. We are one soul. We are one consciousness traveling together. One spiritness is important for humanity to grasp. Your thoughts and ways of being affect me, but you do not yet grasp this and wholly fail to hear, feel, and comprehend my own thoughts and ways of beingness. Hence, I am prone to produce volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, cyclones, and tornadoes. These are my expressions loud and clear." And then the author says, "I was about to add earthquakes to the list, and then I heard Earth say, no, earthquakes are in essence a shift in my skeletal systems, my structure. These will occur as long as I choose to inhabit this body. Yes, I may leave and another being will come in, but I do not foresee that for a long time and is not on my horizon. These other items listed are my expressions. I have many, many more ways and forms of expressions, but these you often miss or choose to neglect. We'll delve into teaching you how to listen quite effectively next time." So this book goes on to have these beautiful exercises of how you can feel the pulse of the earth's own sense of self. And the thing that I really wanted to share with you is in chapter 4, Our Thoughts Have Effects. Paramhansa Yogananda said that the energy of the earth, the weather specifically, was a reflection of our emotional state. And that when certain things are happening in the world, whether it is earth changes or even some problems in nature, like there's like an overabundance of a certain kind of bug or something like that, that a lot of those things are mirroring to us our own collective energy, our own collective thoughts, our own collective feelings. I've been thinking about that a lot because Yogananda said that the plague of 1918, the Spanish flu that killed so many people, he said was a direct result of all the negative energy from World War One, all the negative energy from World War One, and that these low vibration energies of the flu and whatever else it might be could take advantage of our low vibration from the energy of war, of violence, of death, of hatred, all of that. It made me really wonder about what's going on right now in the world with the pandemic. We have not been at war the way that we were in 1915 or 1916, but energetically, people have been talking about, especially here in the United States, this energy of like a civil war or a cold civil war type of thing, where people aren't actually taking up guns and shooting each other in the street, although some people might argue with me about that, at least not in an organized way that we saw in World War I or even World War II. But there's so much division, so much anger, so much of the same energy that brought about World War I and World War II. And so what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling is affecting our planet. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't other things that are also affecting the planet in terms of climate change and things that we're doing. Absolutely. But if you want a place to start, Start with your thoughts and your feelings. And the more you connect with the beautiful Mother Earth energy, so many things can really, really change for you. I'll also share with you that my wife Deepa has noticed she's a full-on empath. I'm about an inch away from being an empath. I'm a highly sensitive person. But Deepa has noticed we got her these grounding shoes for her birthday, and they're shoes that do not have any rubber or anything on the bottom. They just connect right with the earth. And when she goes out for a walk now, she feels 10 times better. She gets a lot more energy. She doesn't feel tired after she's walking. And the biggest thing is she's noticing the little aches and pains that she was having in her knee or in her hip are starting to go away because she's consciously connecting with the energy of the earth as she's walking, and the earth energy is healing her. Earth energy is healing her. So I'm going to let you read the rest of this book, my friends. And you can really see that the earth is here to help us. Mother Mary really wanted you to read this book, so I highly recommend you get it. I'll put a link in the show notes where you can get it. I'll even put a link in the show notes for the grounding shoes that Deepa has in case any of you are interested in looking at that as well. And just, if you're worried about the changes that are going on the planet, I think this book is going to give you some hope, and it's going to give you some heart so that you can continue on to make the changes that need to be made, but to be doing it from the perspective of we're helping our friend and our friend is helping us. Not in an abstract way, but in a very personal way. That's my favorite way of connecting with spirit, is very, very on a personal level. And having this personal relationship with the earth, I think is going to really make a difference for you right now, this month, but also in this upcoming new year. I would love to hear your thoughts about how you like to connect with the earth. Do you go out? Do you do earthing, grounding type of things? Do you connect with the flowers? Do you connect with the trees? Do you connect? Do you bring nature inside? Do you have an indoor garden? Like, how do you really bring in the energy of earth? And do you connect with her? And do you feel like you have that personal relationship? I would love to know. So leave me your comment and let me know. Let me know what you think of this book. And if you have a chance to read it, I'd like to hear your thoughts about that as well. And as always, my friend, just remember that the key to magnifying your miracles is to remember that your miracle is already here. God bless you, my friend. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I'm so grateful to be able to spend this time with you. If you want even more inspiration, feel free to visit my website, francisfaden.com or magnifyyourmiracles.com. And if you did enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever it is that you connect with awesome podcasts. Remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is remembering that your miracle is already here.